Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. It's Anonymous T. Hope you're having an amazing day today. So today I wanted to discuss the Todd and Kandi issues that are arising on Real Housewives of Atlanta, you guys. And I am concerned. I am concerned, but I feel like there's issues on both sides of the coin, you guys. As you guys know, when Kandi met Todd, he was, of course, still, doing the production thing and everything else for Real Housewives, but he also had worked with Carlos King and others on other reality TV shows. And remember, Kandi told Todd that she didn't like him being gone all the time and she wanted him to be home more. And so then after that, that is when they started doing all these businesses, the restaurants, the trucking business, the alleged Mexican restaurant or what have you that didn't come to fruition, the trucking business that didn't come to fruition, the plays, now the Broadway show, and all kinds of other stuff, the acting jobs, negotiating Candy Coated Nights, like the different talk shows and this and that, all of these ventures. And now Todd feels away because Candy's getting all of the credit. But you had to know that going in when you marry somebody who is a lot more wealthier than you. They're the person that people recognize. That's who's going to get the credit. Now, it sounds like on a lot of their ventures that they, have it split either 49-51 or whatever, so that, it's somewhat close to equal. And then Todd is up here talking about, I guess Kandi was upset because Todd has another project where it's about, ironically, anonymous bloggers, you guys. Anonymous bloggers. Make it make sense. However, Kandi, I guess, was not involved. And then by the time she got wind of it, she felt a certain way. And so people are trying to frame it as they're trying to compete against each other, but I don't see it that way. I see it as Todd is resentful of Kandi. I think Todd went into this thinking that he could elevate himself to the level of Kandi and get the same level of recognition, star power, and respect. I think Todd was hoping that he would be like how Carlos King is very visible now with the podcasts, with the TV shows, with the late night show. I think Todd was envisioning himself to be that too, right? And instead, it's Kandi that's getting nominated for the awards. It's Kandi that's getting all of the interviews and all of the publicity and all the promo. But that was going to come with that anyways because people recognize her whether you're a Housewives fan or you're an Escape fan. So that was always going to be the case. I think the issue here with Kandi is, and this is the issue with some people as well, is they have an idea of what they think marriage is and what marriage is supposed to be. But then when you're actually in it, it's completely different from what you fantasize. There's work that has to be involved. There's communication that has to be involved. There's trust that has to be involved. And you went into the marriage saying, hey, I don't want you to do the job that you were previously doing. I want you always around me. So as a result of that, basically all of the ventures had to be with the both of them so that they were both around each other as these, different projects were happening. But then ultimately, Kandi also got busier in addition to their projects. She's filming The Chi. She's doing all of these other things as well. So that's taking additional time away. Plus, they have 2 small kids now. So, in fact, when they're not running the businesses that they share together, Todd is, the de facto parent, essentially. So he feels a certain way because he thought that he was going to have an opportunity to, run and do all of these businesses because he was married to Kandi, but really he still feels like he's in the background. He still feels like he's not being seen. And I don't know how this is going to get rectified, you guys. I do not know how this is going to get rectified because something's going to have to give, right? Something's going to have to give. And Riley spilled the tea. Remember, you guys, a few years back, she spilled the tea that Kandi and Todd are barely home to begin with, you guys. Yet, every single year, they're busier and busier and busier. So, if you're already not home already, And now you're taking on these extra things as well. But Todd is starting to, has this built up resentment and everything else. I'm not seeing how this is going to survive. And then they've already said that, I guess Todd's upset with the frequency of, how often they're having sex or not having sex or what have you. I guess he's bothered about that. Now he said on Shamia's podcast that he's renovating, the condo that he has in New Jersey. As you guys know from previous seasons, he's talked about how often he goes to the strip club. Remember him, Apollo, and Peter, they used to be at the strip club practically every night. And, and now Todd takes these solo trips whenever to Miami and Las Vegas, you guys. So it's weird because it's okay, Kandi wanted Todd to stop doing the production thing because that takes a lot of time, obviously, with filming and producing different people and this and that. But Todd is still finding a way to be gone anyways, you guys. He's still finding a way to go. So I don't know ultimately what the future holds for these two, you guys. Now, to an extent, maybe some of it's amplified for a storyline, as you guys know, with how these reality shows go. But I think there's some truth there. Because even when Todd appeared on Shamia's podcast show that she has now with the Real Housewives of Atlanta husbands, he was talking as if he's been in cahoots with some attorney, because he was talking about how he doesn't care that his name is not on the deed of Kandi's properties, that he could still claim equity if something ever happens to her or if something ever happens to their marriage because of the amount of equity and renovations and things that they've put into the properties while they were married. And I'm like, you sound like Mark Daly. You sound like you've been talking it up, chatting it up with Mark Daly. And it sounds as though he's also been talking with an accountant that I guess him and Kandi share as well, discussing assets, discussing different properties. And I'm like, I don't know, you guys, because that 10 years of the prenup is up, I believe, in 2024. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Mama Joyce was right. If Mama Joyce was right about Todd all along and people got blinded because they saw how, and Todd has made positive changes with Kandi, don't get me wrong. She's elevated her look. She has really elevated, her portfolio in terms of all of the things she was involved with. The only thing I wish she still would do is music and production and writing for other artists. I feel like that's kind of fell at the wayside. And now acting and some other things in these restaurants and everything else have kind of taken the priority. But people can elevate you, but they can also have resentment. They can also feel a certain way that they're still not considered a star. And where am I going with this? Case in point, Sherri Shepherd, Mary J. Blige, you know the rest, on and on and on and on. When you don't marry your equal financially, when you don't marry somebody in the same tax bracket as you, and they're not comfortable, they're intimidated by your success, because this can go either way, right? You can marry somebody that doesn't make the same amount as you, but it depends on who you're dealing with, right? It depends on if you guys establish, okay, this is not going to be an issue. But when you still go into this, and even though you're amounting a certain level of success, it's still not on the level of your spouse. So now you have resentment. Now you're complaining. Now you're turning everything into a competition, and it doesn't need to be. So this is going to be very interesting to see what happens when this 10-year mark happens. Because I would think with all the stuff that Todd gets away with, that he wouldn't file for divorce, right? But then on the flip side, with how he's talking like Mark Daly's talking, maybe he feels like there's millions that he can milk out of this situation. Because there's certain things that were not in that original prenup, like child support. Because kids were not a factor originally in the original prenup, right? There was a payout if Todd stayed for 10 years, you guys. And I believe he has 30 days or something to move out if in fact they do get a divorce. And also, I feel as though Todd is setting up, if the way he's been talking, he's setting up to make claims to certain things of Kandi's to say, hey, I've had access to all this stuff for the past 10 years. I'm entitled to at least half. And the one thing I will get on Kandi is she lets her guard down way too easily with people. And considering, her history and different relationships and things that she's been in with different men, I thought she would be a lot more cautious. Yes, she has a prenup, but the prenup is not as ironclad as people think. Because if Todd is already getting advice from other legal experts and other accountants on what things he can make claims to, even if his name is not on it, and can claim equity, can claim that he did renovations, can claim that he is a stay-at-home dad, that it's Kandi that's running the show, and that's gone all the time. He can make so many claims, you guys, if he is talking to the right attorneys and the right people. So the fact that this keeps coming up now a lot more frequently in their conversations, and Todd's up here, saying other stuff in the confessionals. I still didn't like the flip the mattress comment. I felt that was in poor taste. That was disgusting to say about your wife. But I'm not confident how long this is going to last. How long they're going to have to feel like they have to be in competing parts and trying to, basically say, hey, I'm number one. No. A marriage is a partnership. You're supposed to be working together to achieve the goals that you have had in place that you wanted to continue to build together on. So I'm going to be monitoring this because I feel like this is an evolving story that is going to reach a climax at some point where something's going to have to give. Either Kandi is going to have to dial it back on some of the things that she's involved in, which I can't see, or Todd's going to feel a certain way and make some other arrangements, make some other plans that are going to piss off Kandi. Like, I just don't see this coming cohesive. And this is what happens when you have, differing types of signs like this. And it's that battle struggle, right? It's that power struggle. So we'll see what happens, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you guys think of comments that Todd has been making about how he feels invisible in the marriage and how he is sick of Kandi getting all the credit for everything that they've done, joint ventures on? And what do you think about him saying all of this similar legal talk that Mark Daly is trying to do to Kenya? Please let me know in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.